Welcome home. In this podcast, we venture into what it means to be a leader in this new world. Human, flawed but working on things, and forever changed by using our intuition to guide us. I'm Adelina East, founder of Transformational Healing and mentor to those running soul-based businesses. Join me to receive transformational healing, tips to dive more deeply into your unique spiritual gifts, and to hear great conversations with other entrepreneurs in spirit. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Cosmic Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Adelina East. I am an EMDR therapist. I use internal family systems or IFS therapy. And I also use my own modality, transformational healing, to lead people towards healing themselves. I am not a big lover of sitting around and talking about our problems endlessly, having the same conversation over and over again. I like action. I like to feel better. And what I've found is that a lot of other people like to feel better too. I think there's a time for, sitting and feeling horrible. For sure, that's a part of life, but let's do whatever we can to get out of that place. So today we are going to do a transformational healing session. This is a session that is coming to you by popular demand. So if you're new to the pod, welcome. I'm kind of a weirdo. I'm also a neuroscientist. I have had a long life. I had a lot of work trauma and I had a lot of other trauma and still continue to this day to have a lot of health issues. And so I created something called Transformational Healing that combines neuroscience-backed practices with spirituality because I have found that those things are really important. I have found that certain kinds of therapy work better. I've found that certain kinds of neuroscience-backed practices can really lead us to feeling better. And that's what we're here to do, right? This podcast is my act of service to the world. It comes to you at absolutely no charge whatsoever. And I think it's really important that we all engage in whatever we can to make the world better. So this is how I'm doing that right now. May change, may not. We'll see. Who knows what the future holds? So let's talk about transformational healing and what it is. So what transformational healing is a neuroscientific process. When we do transformational healing, we are working with the neural networks in our brains to reroute something. So I'm going to give you an example, and then we'll talk a little more about transformational healing, and then we'll get right into it. So hang in there if you're waiting for the transformational healing. When we go through something, a trauma of some kind, I'm going to use the example of a car accident because it's the easiest and the quickest, but this can also be a really bad breakup. This can be a bombing. This can be a move across the country or a move to another country. This can be a physical health crisis. This can be really anything you want it to be. Mostly I use transformational healing with traumas, but there's no such thing as a little t trauma in my book. They're all big T because they're all big to us. So use whatever you wish. What we do is we first decide what situation we want to heal. So let's say we were in a car accident. It was really awful. Somebody T-boned us from the back, which actually happened to friends of mine very recently. And let's imagine there were not only physical problems from this car accident, but there were also, a fairly large level of terror to get back in a car. So what often happens with PTSD is that the triggers end up limiting your life in some way. So for folks who have been through a car accident, you may know exactly what I'm talking about. Some people after a big car accident cannot get back in a car. They just can't do it. And this is our body's protective mechanism for us. It's the alarm bell of our system. However, of course, we can't live like this, right? Unless we live in New York where they have a subway. I miss the subway. Never thought I'd hear myself say that. Anyway, most of us have to get into a car to go to work, to get groceries, to pick up the kids, whatever the case may be. So it's pretty important that we deal with that trigger, right? What's happened after that car accident, aside from whatever physical maladies may be facing you now, is that your brain has gone into fight or flight mode. Your brain has decided that cars are generally unsafe. There is a neural network in your brain that is stopping you from getting back in the car. And it's doing this out of protection. So we can look at that part of our brain and say, oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. I totally understand that you want to protect me. You don't want me to die. You're protecting me by making me afraid of cars. However, brain, I have to let you know, cars are not that dangerous. They're not that bad. I can totally get in the car. I can totally do it. And you can say that to yourself and you can say that to your brain forevermore. Maybe it'll work. But for a lot of people, it doesn't. So we're going to work with that neural network in your brain that's telling you that you cannot get in a car and be safe. We're going to work with that today. Then, what we also do as we work with the neural networks in your brain, after we tell the new story to your brain, for example, imagining yourself getting into a car, driving the car to the store, parking the car at the store, getting the things that you need, getting back in the car, driving yourself home, getting out of the car totally safe. You're intact, the car is intact, nothing bad happened. We're going to tell your brain that story. And we're going to take in all of the sensory input around that story. We're going to see the car. We're going to see the dashboard. We're going to see the steering wheel. We're going to see what the store looks like. We're going to see what it looks like to check out. We're going to see what it looks like to get back in the car and put the seatbelt on and drive the car. We're going to feel all of that, see, hear, smell, touch, taste, even if you can. Maybe you've got an iced coffee in the car or something. We're going to do all of that. And then we're going to use something called polyvagal toning, which was created by Porges. And polyvagal toning allows us to start healing ourselves with the sound of our own voice. It sounds way out there, way hippy dippy. Totally works. Totally works. And as we do that, we are going to work with our spirit guides again. So our spirit guides can be anything from deities we grew up loving, like Divine Mother or Mother Mary. It can be relatives who've passed away. It can be friends who've passed away. It can be dogs who've passed away. Anybody who's, kind of living out there in spirit form, if you believe in that kind of thing, can be your spirit guide. If you are not a spirit guides person and you're like, listen, I'm an atheist, I just genuinely don't buy this. This is not for me. It's okay. You can use your higher self. Everybody has a higher self. It's the part of you that is all knowing, all seeing, makes amazing decisions because it has all that information. It's you at your absolute best. You can work with your higher self. That's okay too. Whatever works for you. So, when I get to the point in the transformational healing session where I call in all of our guides, where I call in source energy, if you are not a spirit guides person, I want you to just imagine you at your higher self level. Imagine what you look like. Imagine your magnanimousness and your healingness and all of those wonderful qualities. Okay? Okay. So, if you have a really specific problem, if today's session does not take care of your really specific problem, or even if you do today's session and you're like, I want more of that, you can always book a session with me. You will find the link down in the show notes and you can book there. If I have nothing available at your time slot, look in the next month. I have a disability. I have my own working rhythm over here while I try to deal with my disability. So look in the next month and see what's out there. Don't get discouraged. Okay. I also have options for EMDR or IFS only. If you experience this transformational healing today and it totally freaks you out and you want to go back to like less spiritual, let's say, modalities like EMDR or IFS, that's okay too. We're all on this journey together. We're all in our own places. I have no judgments about it at all. Whatever works for you, that's what we'll do. Okay. Okay. So we're going to start the transformational healing part of this episode. I want you to be in a place where you're comfortable, sit comfortably, lay down comfortably, whatever works for you. We're going to be here for about 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So take that into account. If you're driving, maybe pause the podcast, do this later. If you're doing the laundry, honestly, you can probably do the laundry and do this at the same time. I do, but If you want to wait, it's okay. So take some deep breaths in, close your eyes, and we'll just do a little breath practice here together. I feel like it helps people get into a calmer space. So you're going to breathe in for 6 counts and breathe out for 4 counts. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I explained the breath practice differently than we did it, that's okay. Receiving information already from our guides, it's all good. Ground your body, mind, and spirit into a beautiful place in nature that you love. This can be a beach, a forest, it can be your backyard. Whatever feels cozy and safe to you right now, use that spot. Ground your feet into that spot and bring the healing energy up your feet, up your legs, all the way up through your entire body, up through your chakras and your meridians. If you have no idea what these are, that's okay. It's happening anyway. It's just moving through the different energy systems of your body, clearing out anything that doesn't need to be there to give you more space. And softly and gently bring your mind, body, and spirit up through the sky, up through the clouds, up through the different layers of the universe, the reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, pinks, and purples, and all the way up until you reach this beautiful iridescent space of pearlescent light. And you can imagine yourself here sitting on a cloud, or maybe you're sitting on a beam of light, whatever feels comfy and cozy. And we invite in source energy. We invite in all of our spirit guides. Whoever would like to work with us benevolently today is welcome. In a good way, in a healing way. And we set our intention on healing this thing that's holding this person back, whomever is listening, whether it's today or 20 years from now. There is no time and space, right? It's all a construct. And so today we're going to work with handling disappointment. Disappointment is such a big thing, happens to literally everybody. And so I'm going to ask you to think of a time when you've been so disappointed. Maybe it was a date you were really looking forward to and it went badly, or the person wasn't interesting, or you weren't attracted. Maybe it was a family situation that went awry. Maybe it was hoping to get this new job and not getting it. Maybe it was something as simple as, wanting to do a specific thing on your next day off and realizing you can't do that specific thing. Whatever you'd like to work with today is okay. I always say, work with whatever is deeply impacting your day-to-day life first. So disappointment can be anything, right? What is most impacting your day-to-day life? What kind of disappointment? And now imagine yourself seeing that thing, almost seeing it as an external thing from you. You can give it a color. And now I ask you to bring yourself into the physical space that you were in when that disappointment happened to you. So maybe it was your childhood home. Maybe it was the home that you live in now. Maybe it was outside on the street somewhere. Wherever that disappointment happened to you, bring that space to mind and imagine yourself in that same exact space. And I'm going to ask you to take in 5 different things that you can see there. Maybe it's a couch or a street name or something. Take in a few different things that you see there. And now, instead of reliving that disappointment, which is not helpful for our neural networks, we're going to change it. So instead of that disappointment happening to you, I want you to imagine something wonderful happening. Maybe the thing that you wanted to work out worked out, or maybe something even better worked out. I would encourage you towards the better only because it allows your brain to imagine things kind of beyond your wildest dreams. And that's what we're all shooting for, right? So imagine the better happening. You get to do something even better than you wanted to do on your next day off. You get to experience something even more wonderful than you thought you would experience on that day off. You get to be in a relationship with someone who's really right for you rather than just dating. You get to have the job or the career path that you really, really want rather than the second choice. Imagine that thing happening to you. Take in the different sights and sounds as that thing happens to you. And remember, you're still in that same physical location, but something very different is happening to you. Maybe there are different sounds associated with this, different smells. If there's something that you can reach out and touch as this different thing is happening, do that. And as this new and wonderful thing is happening to you, I ask you to tone with us. Toning is basically just humming. And so you're going to hear me hum at a certain note. If you can't hum that note, absolutely okay. No big deal. You will hear the note end very quickly because of the issues with Zoom as we record, but just keep humming that same note until you hear another one. And take a deep breath in and connect the first finger on your hand with the thumb on your hand. This corresponds to a certain part of our brain that we're going to be working with. If you're on YouTube, you can see me doing this right now. Connecting my first finger with my thumb and hum these tones with me. Mm. 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 Connect your pinky finger, your ring finger, and your thumb all together. That's pinky finger, ring finger, and thumb all together. If you're on YouTube, you can see me doing it. It looks kind of like making a peace sign with your hands. Your first 2 fingers are sticking up. Ring finger, pinky finger, and thumb all connected. And hum this tone with me. Mm. 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 And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And relax your hands softly and gently. Bring your mind, body, and spirit out of this beautiful place. Move down through the different colors, mind, body, and spirit, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. All the way back down to your very favorite place in nature. And imagine your feet grounding into this place. You can even imagine roots dropping out of your feet and connecting into the center of the earth and pulling the healing energy up your feet, up your legs, and all the way up your body. Allowing this healing energy to flow out of the crown of your head, filling in the space around you, 4 feet in every direction. Offering protection, offering love, letting you know where your boundaries are, giving you that space from others to heal, giving you that time to heal. And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And slowly open your eyes when you're ready. After a transformational healing, I always recommend that people do something really grounding to help you remember that you are a human body back in the human world. So I like to go to the kitchen and make myself a cup of tea. That's what works for me. Herbal, caffeinated, whatever feels good to you. Just that act of like filling up the water and turning on the stove, that kind of brings me back into the real world. Not that the world we were just in isn't real. It's absolutely real. It's just not so human and grounded. You can also try taking a little walk. Do something that reminds you that you're here in a human body so that you're not spaced out for the rest of the day. Though that is fun, but we have to live here too. I love you all so much. I'm so grateful to spend this time with you. Please hit me up on Instagram and let me know what you thought of this session. I always recommend that people use it 5 or 6 times because our brains love repetition. It's a really great way to reroute that neural network that we want to work on. So you can reuse it again and again. And thankfully, this podcast is free. So you can use it as many times as you would like. And my greatest hope and wish for you is that it completely helps you, that you're able to let go of that disappointment and that thing that you're imagining that's even better happens to you this week. So much love to all of you.
Thank you so much for listening to these important conversations about cosmic leadership and the changing needs of our times. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also share it with a friend. Join our crew at Adelina East on Instagram or at Adelina East Healing on Facebook. With all the love from every dimension, Adelina.